fundamental alteration.
There is no fundamental alteration of me videotaping myself if I was going to have witnesses.
But if they ask you not to videotape.
There are reasons where people are asking you not to videotape.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. Why don't we get to that point to
You
see?
said it has happened.
In the past, I was just squared up, but not by the doctor. The doctor didn't say I wasn't allowed to videotape. It was the security guard who I asked. You know, the police pointed out, and he never was able to. You know, the same thing that happened at, you know, on A15 at 101 Grove.
So
when
you're
I asked
saying
your
the doctor
officer,
has never asked you to not videotape?
I emailed
Is that-
Dr. Pachi
No,
and
no,
asked
no.
for the programic, no. When you say,
Has a doctor
through an
refused you
email,
services
through
ever?
an email, Dr. Pachi said I could bring a witness and I believe audio tape, and I said, well, you know, what's the difference between videotape, and never got back to me under programmatic access. I'm explaining how he answered. It wasn't verbally, it was through an email. So I've already gone through that. I have the paperwork.
Okay, so is my assumption correct that the sheriff's deputies act on the request of the medical staff?
If the medical
Or
staff
if the
says that
medical
they do
staff
not,
feels
yeah,
uncomfortable and says,
That's right.
we do not want this.
Okay, so
client
then
around."
where do I go die or receive services then? Because, you know, at that point,
No, because
if I
here
cannot
you have-
videotape and I cannot have a programmatic access accommodation made based on my adjustment disorder,
Do you have
you know,
medical documentation stating based on your adjustment disorder, the type
you'd
of
have to speak with
accommodation?
Mitchell Katz.
he's not here, so.
Not
he
my
doesn't work for the
problem.
city.
He wasn't here 12 years ago for
Well-
me when he abandoned me. He wasn't here when I got the signed
But if you
confession.
invoke
I
him,
have,
he is your problem.
no, sir.
If you invoke
No,
his
sir.
name or your record,
No,
he
sir.
is.
My problem is seeking what is legally required as a citizen, you know, doing everything correctly for prepaid services. This is my disability. These services are prepaid. I'm entitled to them, you know.
This could be actually viewed as harassment. And it could really be viewed as harassment. If medical staff says you're harassing them, it is up to my staff to protect the health and welfare of the people who work there that are patients. And frankly, you are harassing in the sense that you're suggesting that
Okay.
it's
So then
it's
where
not
do-
our, it's not
So
your
then where do I
responsibility.
go to get my health care, and or where do I go to die,
Well,
sir?
the accommodation you're asking,
Is unreasonable giving my
how
past?
do you substantiate the accommodation?
I've
Well,
already,
there are, under the ADA,
Yes.
when you request an accommodation, you have to provide medical documentation or proof of your disability.
well, you know, how
And
can
then
I
you
do that
have
if
to
I don't
bring-
have a doctor and I haven't had one for
Well,
12
sir,
years?
then maybe you have to follow the rules initially to be connected with a
Follow the
doctor.
rules.
Excuse me, you mean when I followed the rules initially and my doctor abandoned me and I did nothing incorrect, and
Then
now
you
you're going to
can
put me
report
back
them
into a
to the
treadmill that will
American
abuse me and not be
Psychiatry
correct?
Association. You can report Dr.
I already
Katz.
did all that. It didn't
Okay.
work.
Well,
So, you know, a dead-end alley is not helping a
But
patient
actually,
who's telling the
we're trying
truth.
to break that dead end by
Well,
giving
good.
you some tools on how to proceed. And I
I-
think that it is decent advice because you've got people who are committed to try to get you access and services. I think you should give it a try.
I will go in with a witness and a video recorder,
Who's your witness?
you know, and I'll go from there, and there won't be a problem then. And, you know, I just probably will write everything down so that they can't say I'm abusive.
Okay.
And then, you know, if they deny me because of their rules, I'll write down and I'll ask them based on what laws, considering I'm asking them to programmatic access
But then if
for
they
Title
ask you
II,
based on
and now
accommodation-
leave, you know, I will do the correct thing and I will videotape it and I will come back to you.
Well,
You know,
but if
so
they
it's
don't
not
wanna-
about
But
being
if they don't want to
hostile.
be videotaped,
you know?
you have to follow the rules.
I do not have to follow the rules if they're not legal.
It's true, you don't have to follow anything,
If they're
but
not
they don't
legal,
also have to
you
give
know, they've not been,
services.
no, they have to, that's legality.
sir, your ADA rights do not trump other people's individual rights, do not trump health and safety codes. I mean, ADA.
I have not
despite-
had any health and
despite-
safety codes applied to me.
Despite your statements here, ADA is a very narrow scoped law. It is not the end all to all your systemic problems, unfortunately.
Well, I thank you for your opinion. I happen to disagree. I am disabled. I was told what my disability was. I have done everything correctly. I sit here with an arrest record, never having been arrested. Oh, and by the way, if you look at the paperwork, the bogus stayaway order that has my picture on it, and the 1/18/2012, that was the final dagger by the Department of Public Health. That was my arrest record from 2001 when the sheriff illegally denied me emergency services that I now have a signed confession from The Office of Inspector
The
General.
sheriff does not have the right to deny you emergency
I
services.
was
Cannot.
denied
No, sir.
emergency
They-
services, and I can give you the
Maybe
case number.
sheriff's deputies enforced an order by staff, but they do not have the right
I
to
still
deny
was
the
denied, was I not?
Well, moving forward.
Thank you, please, let's not spin. You are not helping my
Hey,
ADA
hey,
condition.
hey, tone it down.
I'm being honest.
Moving forward, you can enter Tom Waddell.
Thank you.
Enter 101 Grove.
Thank you.
Go ahead and follow the procedures and policies that they have.
That's correct, and if they do not allow me to videotape, I will be back. And I will see the sheriff, and I will go from there, because, you know, like I said, I will go, you know, gag. I will write everything down so that they can't say I'm being
But you're
disruptive.
you're actually gonna get nowhere in the sense
Why
that-
is that, Ross?
Because if the rules are, they ask you to comply with the rules.
And if the rules are wrong,
Then,
I haven't complied with any wrong rules so far. I didn't comply with the rules of stopping after the city had my case illegally thrown out, sir. You know, you did
can't
not
speak to
comply
that.
when the mayor, you know, told you, you know,
We're
that you
staying
were doing
focused
something
on
wrong.
you.
I
We're
am
staying
doing, I
focused
am
on
talking about the rules and policies that do not
Okay.
necessarily
so if you don't wanna take,
evade
if you don't
or
wanna
do
take
what
our,
people are,
if you
rights are.
don't want services,
I
then
never
understand.
said that, please do not spin.
Well, but they're saying that that's what it takes to get services.
And I'm saying that that's not legal. So please enforce my legal rights and we'll go from there.
Sorry, I'm not a lawyer.
Well, I'm sorry.
And-
I'm
and
simply
nobody
asking for
here
what I'm
is
asking
acting
for.
as
I'm
an
not worried
attorney.
about it. This will go on YouTube. And everybody will see the lack of advocacy because I will go.
Department of Justice Act.
I have done all that. I've got all that paperwork. Let me tell you, it doesn't work. It's all a crock. I've got it all. That's why I'm here continuing to seek services, you know, and the ability to videotape. So that you guys later on can say, well, see, we provide everything. And I'll say, yeah, here's the videotape. You know, it's not honestly telling the truth all along. And the reason I'm this way is because of 12 years of not being helped, constantly telling them the truth and everybody pointing fingers at everybody else. And then when I prove I'm right, I'm left for dead.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 2:00. We have, I think, exhausted our ability to try to be at least constructive. And I think the ball's in your court.
Thank you.
And you will be able to, I think those barriers that appear to be either real or not, you can determine those by seeking services. And again, if those administrators and staff feel that there are rules to be respected and that they're not, I wouldn't be surprised that they then ask you to leave the premises or to deny your services. That's just my forecast and anticipating how this conversation has gone. Personally speaking, I hope you get the services and do everything you can to allow yourself access to those services and collaborate. I really do. And I really thank everybody here at the table for their patience, and I think also trying to be as supportive as they possibly can. So,
Okay, now what about all our other issues? Are we going to have another meeting regarding the other issues, the way I was handled here, you know, with, like, let's say, the access and accommodation on going to, you know, 25 Van Ness and, you know, that not happening that day and receiving the services? You know,
I
all the
frankly
other
think
things
that-
that have gone by, you know, Captain Gorewood saying we can only take complaints behind closed doors. You know, Paul, you know, of course, using the risk management approach that, you know, it's transparency and advocacy, and it's now taken 3 months before we've even gotten this meeting. This person here claiming to be an ADA advocate for me, you know, after I've explained 3 times what my disability is. And of course, the Department of Public Health saying that I can go in seeking services. And like I said, I'll go in with a
well, I think
witness
one
and
thing
I'll
at a
write
time.
everything down.
I want to hear how you actually conduct yourself in working and trying to seek services, since that's been a major issue and one that I think you have a lot of concern about around this table. So see how that proceeds.
And then my complaints that I
So-
issued with you guys on 8/15 and the rest, when will I get followed up with? Because, you know, I will go and do what you said. I will go to the Department of Public Health. I will take a witness. I will write everything down. I will not speak. And then we will go from there, and I'm sure I will be back. So, you know.
Okay, well, we'll take it one step at a time.
In the meantime, those complaints that I've already initiated with your staff, what is the follow-through and follow-up with them? And when will I be contacted so I can explain the culture of how, like the Boy Scouts, you guys, by not enforcing people's legal rights to their medical care, are further harming
But
us individuals?
my understanding is enforcement of legal rights is not within the sheriff's deputy's jurisdiction. Your jurisdiction is to keep the peace, to keep the staff and personnel safe. It's not to be advocates. I go through this all the time with the police department. People have legitimate ADA violation grievances, the police officers get there, all they can do is control the scene and de-escalate the tension. They're not attorneys. This is taken care of in court.
We don't have legal.
So for example, at 101 Grove, when I went, and I pointed out that it was a bogus stay-away order and that I was disabled and that I needed help, those officers weren't trained in advocacy, is what you're telling me?
They're not supposed to.
It's court ordered. It's not.
It's court ordered that they're not. The sheriffs aren't trained in advocacy or ADA or any of these
They're not
issues.
advocates.
And I've explained it to you that you have to either district attorneys or city attorneys, civil and or criminal, depending on the nature. And so you got to break out of that cycle because that's the truth.
They're not your advocates. They're not citizen advocates.
I just want my rights, of legal rights, to be
Well,
enforced.
you've been given the
That's all.
tools to know where to go.
I'm going to do that and I'm going to follow up.
You seek not to, that's on you. So, good luck, and I hope you really do, I think, succeed in getting the services. We want you to be well. All right, so thank you, everybody. for your
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will continue. Thank you.
Yes.